Hello, welcome. I hope you're having a great new year so far. I'm having a pretty good one, especially now that it's time to do some drums. Even though I had to step away and not play Phasmophobia with my friends for a little while, but that's okay because I'll get to join them later. In the meantime, though, uh, I'm going to keep practicing the 3/4 song that I started on Monday. Yesterday, I spent about half an hour practicing that intro section. So I've just got to speed it up a little bit, and then we can move on to the next section. Um, however, our 30-day double bass series with Samus is now over. So we're starting a new one. This one is only 6 days long, but it is about jazz and Jazz 101 with I always forget his name, but he's a really accomplished jazz drummer, very good. So we'll be learning from him. I don't know much about jazz, but I'm kind of excited to learn some of this because there's a lot of jazz inspiration in certain genres of rock and metal, particularly metal. So, like one example of a pretty famous song nowadays, Pisces by Ginger. Um, Pretty famous because it showcases a female singer doing very deep uh, growls and vocals that you might associate with a male metal singer. So she's able to go quite low with her growls. The drummer, though, the current drummer, is a classically trained drummer, and which basically means that he learned how to play jazz and swing and stuff like that. I guess that's what they mean by classically trained with drumming. It's not as well defined to me as like piano, but anyway, yeah, he has a jazz background primarily, but he's now in a metal band, and he brings that jazz influence into his playing, and you can 100% tell. So I think it would be good to learn at least some stuff. This isn't going to go into anything advanced, and in fact, it might cover some stuff I already know. Like I know a couple of jazz patterns. I know how to do a. Let me move my mouse for a sec. I know how to do a swing groove, and I know how to do a shuffle, which the swing groove will be something like this. Which honestly, I'm actually not very good at that one because it's easier for me to do the shuffle, which I'll do it here in a sec. Which, whenever I try to do that first one, I end up transitioning into the shuffle, which sounds like this. Which that one is, it's jazzy, but it's also a little bluesy. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started now that I've been talking for 3 minutes straight.
That's what a jazz drummer is supposed to sound like. We got what
Ulysses,
I like
that's
to
his
call that
name.
snap,
Ulysses.
crackle, and pop. Spangalang, spangalang. To get deeper into this music, you have to dig into it. So when I say one, two, three, four, sorry. Hey everybody, it's Ulysses Owens Jr. here. Welcome to Jazz Drumming 101. I'm going to give you an overview of how to approach this art form on the drum set. But before we get deep into that, we're going to start with the jazz ride cymbal pattern, which is the foundational principle to playing this music. So, a couple of things I want you to understand. One is, what is a quarter note? So when I say one, two, three, four, that's a quarter note. And I want you to play that with me. One, two, three, four. You can use one hand or two hands. If you want to use two hands, that's fine. And I want you to count with me. One, two, three, four. One, two, three, four. One, two, three, four. Now let's go to just the one hand. If you're right-handed like me, use your right hand. If you're left-handed, use your left hand. Now let's take this right stick in a minute. We're going to shift it to the right side, okay? Here we go. One, two, 1, 2, 3, and Notice I'm playing quarter notes on the hi-hat and I'm playing quarter notes on the bass drum. And off. All right, the second thing we're gonna do is I want you to get those quarter notes happening in the feet if you can again. Let's try that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we're feeling good with our quarter notes. Now we're gonna play a rhythm called the triplet rhythm. Okay, and I want you to understand this rhythm because it is the bass line of the jazz swing beat. All right, so here we go. We're gonna use two hands. 1, 2, 3, and triplet, 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 triplet. Right? One more thing. We're going to play that triplet again. This time I want you to play the hi-hat on 2 and 4. So 1, 2, 4. 2, 4. And heel down. We'll leave the right foot out for now. And we're going to add those triplets again. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 2 and 4 on the hi-hat. Make sure you relax. Now we're going to move to the next thing, and after that, we're going to bring the bass player in, and we're going to start making some music, okay? The next thing is I want you to say a pattern that I love to speak. Spangalang. Spangalang. Okay? So that is the rhythm that we want to play. If you're a left-handed drummer, you can use your left stick. I'm right-handed. I use my right stick, and we're going to play right on the snare drum for now. So 1, 2, 3. Spangalang, 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 spangalang. Left hand. Now we're going to move to the ride cymbal. We want to play in the sweet spot. And one of the beginners, or I should say, one of the people that took this pattern and put it on the ride cymbal is the great Kenny Clark, okay? So he didn't invent the pattern, but he was the first to take it from the hi-hat and put it on the ride cymbal. So we're going to do like Kenny Clark. We're going to take this pattern from the drum, put it on the ride cymbal. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Spangalang, spangalang, spangalang. Another thing I'm doing on the bass drum, I'm feathering, playing all 4 notes. That's a little bit difficult. We could dig into that later, but that is the complete pattern. So 2 and 4 on the hi-hat, all 4s, feathering on the bass drum, and the ride cymbal. I'm going to play it one more time before we bring in the bass. 1, 2, 3, 4. A 1, 2, 3, and so that's the basics of playing a jazz swing pattern. We're going to now bring in an upright bassist so we can fit it all together. So let's listen to the bass player. They're playing those quarter notes that I talked about, and we're going to add our hi-hat in first. 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, and 2, 4, 2, 4. If you have the technique together to add the bass drum on all 4s without it being loud, let's try to bring that in. A 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't want this. We don't want that. Feathering. So we're gonna get this ride cymbal in. Here we go. A 1, 2, 3, and. And make sure you're connecting The 2 and 4 here, the 2 and 4 there. All right, here we go. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3. All right, so that is the basics of learning how to play a jazz swing beat with the ride cymbal, spangling pattern, hi-hat on 2 and 4, and feathering the bass drum. Couple names I want you to think about. The great Kenny Clark, as I mentioned, Kenny Clark, who was the first to transfer from the hi-hat over to the ride cymbal. I want you to think about the great Max Roach, who we're celebrating his 100th year, his centennial this year in 2024. I want you to also think about Roy Haynes and Art Taylor and Billy Higgins. And the list goes on and on and on. The beautiful thing about those different drummers is that they all play the basic ride cymbal pattern, but then they add their own personality to it, and it grows and it becomes something really beautiful. So the basics of understanding jazz drum set playing is understanding how powerful that swing groove is. And from that beat, you can literally move and shift the band wherever they need to go and make them dance and feel good in this music. So that was a great lesson on how to approach jazz fundamentals with the ride cymbal. Now the next video is going to be simply about how to get your acoustic kit set up so that you can be ready to play and practice jazz.
So nothing too groundbreaking for me there, but a couple of things I want to talk about. The first thing is he mentioned a technique called feathering, and you might have guessed what that is, but just in case, I'll explain. That's basically just hitting the bass drum very lightly. And for me, I find that almost impossible to do with my standard technique of heel up, my heel being pointed up, which I don't have the pedal cam on this scene right now. For this one, though, I'm keeping my heel planted and using nothing but shin so that I can have finer control and be quieter with it. The other things, he mentioned a bunch of artists at the end that heavily inspired the jazz genre, and you might have noticed a pattern. And that is that most of the artists in that list were black. And I think it's worth saying that the metal and rock community have a lot to thank the black American drumming community of the 20s and 30s onward. The people that created the modern jazz sound that laid the foundation for virtually all modern drumming. So the type of drumming that I like to do and listen to would not exist without those artists. And so we, as you know, not just an individual genre of, you know, rock and metal, whatever, but the entire modern music landscape owes a great thing to the pioneers of jazz. All right, so now we're going to go back into practicing the 3/4 song that I worked on Monday. Made some good progress. Like I said, I worked on it some yesterday, so I just need to speed it up a bit. I think on Monday I topped out at around 80 or 85 BPM out of 130. I managed to get up to 110 yesterday. And yeah, I think I'm going to be able to move up to 115 pretty quickly, but I'm going to go ahead and start at 110 because I was also warming up and practicing a little bit before stream. Now, I've got the feel of the groove down, including that one fill, so I think I'll be doing okay with it. Yeah, I'm already feeling pretty good about that. So I'm going to go ahead and bump it up by 5. All right, let's take a break for 2 seconds. My right arm is getting a workout. Also, I forgot to turn on the pedal camera, which I'm going to move to down here. Which I'm going to move pedal over here and me down here. There we go. I think everything's visible there. Cool. Oh, man. All that crash work. Whew. Got my shoulder burning a little bit. All right. We're getting there, though. We're getting there. I'm still getting thrown off a little bit by that fill. I feel like I had the feel for it, but there's something with the bass hit that I'm not landing quite right. And I don't know if you noticed, but the bass pattern doesn't change through any of this. It's the exact same on every measure. So that's a thing I do sometimes is I'll replace the crash with the cowbell because it makes it easier to hear the other instruments while also keeping my right hand rhythm intact. Like I have it internalized. I can do it, but it's like every few go through. My brain like temporarily forgets how to do it, and then I remember halfway through. And then out of nowhere, I could just kind of suddenly do it after struggling a moment ago. All right, we're going to bump it up another 5. We're almost there. We're almost to 130. Almost to 130. We are nailing this now. All right, We're going up to 130. The number green, that means 100% normal speed. And we started at what? 45 or 50? I think we got it. I think we did it. We have successfully played the intro section at full speed, looped multiple times, and gotten it right. That is what I call progress. And now we have to get into the verse groove, which we'd already picked up the first measure of as part of going out of the loop. So this shouldn't be too bad, hopefully, especially since the bass pattern continues to be exactly the same. So that's a good thing to look out for as well. If the bass pattern seems to change, then I'm doing something wrong. And somebody should let me know if I don't catch it. All right, so let's see. How far do we need to do the loop? Oh, it got a few extra hits in there, so let's see. It looked like it's a 3-measure pattern at the moment. So we're just going to do 3 measures. Nope, never mind, 4 measures. These 4 right here. And you might notice that on the note right before this one, there's a different kind of hit. It's a X on the second line above the ledger. The crash hit that we've been doing have been either on the line below, or the space right above the measure, or on this line. However, when it was on this line before, like at the very beginning of the section, the X is bolded. The bold means that it's a crash. Listening, after having listened to it, the X here, which is not bolded, I'm pretty sure means the China. So it's a little bit interesting, and we'll have to account for that when we learn this. And we want to make sure that we have that from the get-go, because we want to start building up the muscle memory needed to go to the correct crashes. And in fact, here it's going to be a little tricky, because I have to go all the way from here to over here and then back again. Now, I can't do it with my left hand on the hi-hat, because right before that hi-hat hit is a snare hit, and I won't be able to get there in time. So I'm going to have to be able to go something like that. All right, so let's go and get an idea of what the groove actually is before we start playing along to it. Okay, I think I've already got the hang of it. Luckily, I've done syncopated patterns like this before. So here's something to talk about for just a sec. So if I was, a lot newer, if I was, say, learning this a year and a half ago, there are a number of things that would have given me trouble. The first one is, if you notice, at the beginning of every measure, you have a note with a dot at the bottom of it. That means that it's swung, which is basically, like what we were doing in the other video. It's that, except instead of being ride, 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 it's crash, space, crash, crash, space, crash. So it's the same kind of pattern, it's just distributed or orchestrated differently. So if they've already learned their basic swing pattern, then that might not be an issue. The second thing is how fast it is. This is a fairly fast groove, 130 BPM, and you saw how fast it was. That's going to be very tiring for a beginner drummer. Like me, I'm not getting tired. I am getting a little sore, and I think that's a little different because it's not hitting my stamina at the moment. But a newer drummer might run up against stamina challenges. Not necessarily challenges, but it will push them a little bit. The other thing is, of course, that fill, because of the speed of getting from the tom to the crash. But I think that once somebody got over those, they would generally not have too much trouble. So I'm going to go ahead, and I'm not going to start it slowly on this part. I'm going to start it at, let's say, 80 BPM. I think we're getting a hang of the motions here. I'm going to... Actually, we got 15 minutes left. I think I've been working pretty hard here. So you know what? I'm gonna take the last few minutes and just play like maybe 3 songs. Save Me. I don't remember who that's by. It's a newer one, I think. All right, let's switch to our other scene too. There we go. Still searching. I played it before, but I do not remember how it goes. Maybe once it gets started, it'll start to click.
I here? Can you at least let me out? Come on, guys. You guys left me again?
Nope, you're stuck. You're stuck.
Say you.
Awakening. Oh boy.
You guys want to watch me touch myself. That's what it is.
Okay, this is gonna be a tiring one. Okay. I can do this. This is gonna be a tough one though. It is every time. But I will do my best, as always. I think that no matter how I do, Brennan Lee Mulligan would be proud of me because I always do my best. You know, my calves barely feel a thing. I can't feel any pain in my calves through the pain that I feel in my shins. It completely nullifies all other pain. All right, we're going to do a cool down. Actually, I'm not even going to roll.
From the office down the hall. It's good to see you, buddy. How have you been? Things have been okay for me, except that I'm a zombie now. I really wish you'd let us in. I think I speak for all of us when I say I understand why you folks might hesitate to submit to our
trivia fact, the artist that wrote this song is also the artist that wrote the ending song for Portal, Still Alive. That was also written by Jonathan Coulter. I appreciate you coming to hang out with me while I get started on the 6-day Jazz 101 course and continue work on learning this 3/4 song that a buddy of mine recommended to me. For the first time, we got the intro section down at full speed. Of course, I'm going to have to maintain that between streams to make sure that I don't forget how it goes or that I don't lose speed on it. But during the streams, we'll focus just on moving forward. So that means that on Friday, we're going to continue on the section that we ended with today. We're going to work on getting it all the way up to speed and see how we do. In the meantime, of course, remember that drums are hard, music is hard. Be kind to yourself and others, and go practice. Bye.